Oh, hi everybody. Please let's put the chat on the screen. Let's try to see if we are live. We are live, Ricardo.
Oh, great.
Okay. Hi everybody. It's a pleasure to have you here today. I would like to ask you to put your name and company on the chat, okay, in the chat, in order to have a small interaction between us. Good morning, Flavio. Let me share the link of the live on our groups. So. Ricardo, I'm very excited to have this live with you. It's our first live in English.
Yeah,
It's a
it's a great
special
moment.
day.
It's a special day. It's a great moment.
Yes. Hello, Marcel. How are you? So let me share the link of the live. Hi, Gracinda. Let me close my screen, start sharing my screen here to put on the table, to put on the screen the presentation. Share my screen. Hi, Flavia. Flavia from Berlinger. Marcel from Abbott. Edu Romel from Antares Vision. Let me see the other guy. Gracinda from Abbott. Solvik from Merck. Hi, Solvik. Rogério Pereira from Ladder. Aidan from PTC. Hi, Vincent. Vincent from SAP. Let me share my screen here. We'll wait for more 2 or 3 minutes before starting. Okay, guys. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. Hi, Neha from SAP. Bruna from Uniter. Fresenius, Thais from Fresenius. Oh, we have a lot of people here. Let me see how many watchers. Oh, it's right. Hello, Vinicius from Verifarma. Guido from Grunenthal. Oh, good. Newton from T2. Hello, Newton. Brian from Abvi. Mundi Pharma. We have a lot of people here today. Are you ready, Ricardo, for our first live in English to talk
Yes.
about a simple subject that is traceability in Brazil?
It's not easy to explain what this Brazilian scenario. It's always with some kind of
It's
emotions.
always a complex
It's kind
scenario.
of roller coaster, but it's important. Trying to explain to our colleagues around the world what's happening in Brazil and trying to translate in some way not only the language but the scenario and how things happening here. It's, uh, it's always a challenge.
Oh, yes, yes. Guys, it's a pleasure to have all of you here today, okay, in our live. This live is initiative that we are doing in order to keep all of you updated about the Brazil regulation. We know that Brazil regulation is always a challenge because we have a lot of information that we are receiving from Anvisa, from the market. And today, together, my colleague here on this presentation, Ricardo Mello from GS1 Brazil, we will try to clarify some open points and giving to you, to all of you, some information to help your implementation. Okay. We have here uh, an agenda. Okay, we will talk about the packaging inserts, the leaflet that was the subject of the bill. We will talk about some details about the chains, specific details about the chains. In this point, I will share with all of you a mind map that we did here, and after the live, we can share the link of the mind map. Okay, and some options about the electronic leaflet. And especially in this point, I will try to discuss together with Ricardo Melo the options that we have. We know that, and Ricardo will explain here to us an option that we have using the GS1 standard, and I think it will be good to all of the market to understand and to know about this standard, because it's a mission, a challenge that we have here to keep following the standard. And we will try to answer a specific question if Anvisa will stop the SNCM. Okay, it's a common question that we are receiving. And the next steps that we think that will be the steps that we will have on the SNCM implementation. Ricardo, do you want to add any comments before starting?
For those who doesn't know me, I'm Ricardo Melo. I'm from
Oh, yes.
Jason. Yeah, I'm from Jason, Brazil. And for I believe for some of you already know me from the meetings from Jason Global Healthcare and public post meetings. So if you have some needs about the GS1 standards, if you need some contact point on here at Brazil, at GS1 Brazil, you can reach me. Feel free to mail me, and later I believe I can share on the chat my email. Feel
I
free
may, yes.
to contact me anytime you want. Thank you, and thank you, Rodrigo, for inviting me to trying to explain what is this scenario here in Brazil. It's always a pleasure and a challenge trying to communicate about this. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here on the first live in English. Okay, guys. I have a channel on YouTube where I usually share some videos and about the Brazil implementation. And you can subscribe. Please subscribe on this channel in order to keep up to date. And I will try to share more content in English, and it's very important to have you subscribed on the channel. Okay, I'm Rodrigo Klein. I'm a former IT manager of Interfarm. Okay, I am working on this subject since 2008 when I was part of Interfarm, and now I am CEO of T2 Software, that is a company that is part of Antares Vision Group. Let's go to the information. The first question that we are receiving was about what is the relation between a bill, okay, a project of law, and the traceability, okay, because in fact it is a strange point on this subject. Why a bill, a project of law about packaging inserts or leaflets could change traceability? And this is a key point that I would like to start the explanation, is because it was only a dummy subject. Okay, it was not a discussion about the electronic leaflet, or it was not a discussion about how to give access to the customers to more information on the medicines. It was only a tool to change the traceability requirement. Okay, it was a pretext to change the traceability law. This is the key point that we have here. It was voted faster than usual and faster than the PL, the bill 2552. That is the bill supported by the associations like Sindus Pharma, Interpharma, and other associations. and this is why this subject could be voted faster than usual inside the Congress. Okay, if you have some time or if you understand Portuguese and you can watch the session inside the Senate, inside the Congress, you can see that we are missing some logic discussions about this the the goals of this bill, and the only point was that this bill was to change the traceability law. Okay, it because looking to the information about the electronic leaflet, there is nothing there is nothing different than Anvisa could do. Okay, because Anvisa is working on the electronic leaflets. Anvisa is working on some initiatives inside the together with the regulatory affairs of the companies to try to test some initiatives on this way. And it was not a subject that could be managed by a law, but the reality is that it was only to change the traceability rules. Okay, it's it must be clear. It needs to be clear. I will starting to share a mind map that I have here to explain all the information that we have between the lines of the regulation, okay, and the law. Starting from the law, okay, the original law that we have on the traceability, we need to have a clear understanding that in the original law, okay, even with this bill is not changing the scope of the SNCM, okay? SNCM will keep existing to control the production, the distribution, the commercialization, of course, the sales, the dispensation, and the prescription in some cases. Okay, this bill is not revoking SNCM as we can see in some news on the market. Okay, the word revoke are being used is being used only to create some awareness in order to ask for attention on this subject, because the visa is trying to change the subject, to change some part of the text before the presidential signature. I don't know how to say sanção, Ricardo, in English, if you know, okay. But Anvisa is trying to change.
You can say, I believe, the president's approval
President's
of
approval.
the law.
Yes, and Anvisa is trying to change some to work together with the government, okay, to try to to revoke some changes on the text, because it's an option that we have on the Brazilian law, okay, before the president approval. And this is why Anvisa is asking, is telling on the channels that this bill is revoking the traceability. Okay, but in fact we have some change, but it's not revoking the traceability, and I will explain to all of you why. Okay.
And in Brazil, the president, when he's giving his final approval, he can partially approve the bill.
Yes. Yes.
So it's common. You can sometimes you can see in Brazil that some bill was partially approved, entirely approved, or not approved by the president. He
Yes.
has this power.
And it's good to clarify the point that Ricardo told to us now, that if the president don't approve, provide a revoke, okay, a veto. In Brazil is a veto in some parts of the text or in the entire text. This action will start again a process inside the Congress to approve, to accept or not the revoke of the part of the text. Okay, and in the step that we are today, we need to understand that is not the final step, okay? Uh, is not the final step to have the approval on the Senate that the bill will be automatically approved. Okay, we need to wait for the president approval, and it must to be done up to Ricardo May May
11,
13,
13,
13 or 11. Acho que é
13.
13. 13.
Uh, it's something 15 business day. I have
15 business day. 15 business day. And it will reach the second week of May.
mm,
Okay, you need to wait. If the president don't give to the market, okay, to his signature, it will be
um,
automatically
11,
approved.
11, May 11.
May
This
11.
this
Okay,
the
May 11.
final the deadline for
Okay.
approval of ascension.
Okay. Anvisa will keep the responsible for the implementation of SNCM. Okay. If we are talking about maybe medicines for animals, veterinary medicines, it will be another agency. Okay, that is the Ministry of Agriculture. But in this case, Anvisa will keep the responsible for the SNCM regulation. Okay, in this point, we can understand that there is no change. Okay, Anvisa will keep responsible for the SNCM implementation. Of course, we have some other changes on the text that I will show to you, but there is no change in the scope of the SNCM or even if Anvisa is responsible, okay, or has power to create regulations around the SNCM. Okay, let's go to the main changes inside the SNCM. Oh, so, sorry, I forgot to change this part of the text. Okay, the main change that we have is that the serial number will be optional, okay, by the law. Okay, it's very important to clarify this point. By the law, okay, the serial number will be optional, but there is no guarantee that Anvisa will keep this serial number optional. Okay, Anvisa can keep the serial number optional, or Anvisa can ask you for the serial number. Okay, there is no forbidden, there is no requirement that can block Anvisa. Okay, there is no text on the law that can block Anvisa to ask for a serial number or to ask for any other information that we have on the packages. Okay, it's very good to have this point very clear on your mind. Okay, that even having these new text, Anvisa can ask you for more information on the cartoons, on the packaging, even the serial number. Ricardo?
It's important because um, we have two things to highlight here. Uh, the law in Brazil, uh, it states what needs to be done, not how to be done. Who does define how to be done? Anvisa. And when you see the first text in orange, uh, the first version of the law from January 2009, it stated that the system need to the control will be carried through out through a system of individualized identification of drugs. So the law stated that the drugs need to have an individualized identification. We can understand here a serial number. This new bill changed that text and state that the control B needs to carry through a system identification of drugs. And it stated about the AIDC capture of data. So
Yes.
what they simplified the text. They removed the obligation of individualized identification, but Anvisa still has the power to define how this will be done, and Anvisa still have the power to determine the use of the serial number.
Yes,
Okay.
and getting this point, the only way that Anvisa can be blocked to ask something, okay, some different information, some additional information, is if in the text of the law we have something like, okay, Anvisa, there is no power to Anvisa to ask for more information on the cartons, okay. In this case, Anvisa will not have the power to ask for information, but there is no forbidden of Anvisa to ask for more information. Okay, even if we don't have individualized here on the new text, okay, Anvisa can ask for serial number on the cartons. Anvisa can ask for serial number in some specific categories of the medicines, okay, or Anvisa can allow the companies to choose, okay, as the law is providing this option, to choose if you will put the serial number or not.
Yes, on the first text, Anvisa
Was
has
obliged,
obligation
yes,
uh,
has obligation.
to ask about to require deserialization. Now Anvisa can decide if the serial number is mandatory or not. Anvisa now has even more power to work uh, with
More
the how.
flexibility.
Yes, flexibility about the
Flexibility.
kinds of the drugs that Visa wants to have a better or more precise control and traceability.
Yes, and in the same way, we have the use of GTIN. That was not that GTIN is not on the law. Okay, you can't find any GTIN information in any law, but we have the GTIN inside the normative instruction, the RDC. Okay, that's why Anvisa can ask for more information. Okay, and in this case, we need to have the GTIN defined by the market, and now we have the GTIN inside the normative instructions, okay, the regulation. But Anvisa can do the same, can put more information on the regulation to ask for a certain number, to ask for a certain number for some categories of the medicines. Okay, there is no text on the law that can deny, can forbid an Anvisa to ask for more information. Okay, it's good to have a clear understanding. Okay, what we have on the law. Okay, we need to put the registration of the drug, okay, the Minister of Health number. The serial number will be optional because it's not on the law anymore. The batch ID, the expiry date, and we have a new item that is related to the electronic leaflet that we will discuss in other points of the presentation. In this case, it's we need to understand that the politicians don't have the clear understanding of the technical aspects of the implementation. But here we have the information that we need to have a quick read, two-dimensional barcode that directs to a virtual address on the internet where the customer, the patient, can find some information about the medicines. And we need to have the same information that we have on the paper leaflet, okay, on the website, plus with some additional resources related to audio and video in some cases. Okay.
This was intended for disabled people who have can have access to the paper leaflet. This is the main argument to implement this bill to help disabled people to also have access to information that is important to them.
Yeah.
And just to, I'm looking to the chat. Bjorn asked, uh, in orange, it's the old text, the previous text of the law, and the green one is the new proposed text. Is the
Yes,
Rodrigo brought here for us the old text and the change on using highlighted in green.
yes.
And
Uh, Here is the information related to the. I forgot to translate this part of the test. It is the information related to the in the original law. Okay, the Anvisa has the power, together with the registration holder, to add more information on the law we're asking. Okay, and now the new text is only the registration holder of the product could add more information on the cartons. Okay, this is a change, but my understanding is that in any case, a visa can add more information, can ask for more information, because on the law that we have the creation of Anvisa, we have all the power to Anvisa to ask for anything on the cartons. That is that is here. The new text is giving to the registration holder the power to ask for more information, to put more information on the carton as GTIN. Okay, if you didn't have the GTIN on the normative instructions or even on the RDC, the registration holder can put more information on the carton. Okay, but now Avisa can keep asking for more information on the carton. Okay, there is no change.
And Gail asked me here on the chat. Yes, the serialization first was a legislative requirement on the first version of the bill. Now, uh, the new text removed this legislative requirement and gave to Anvisa the ability to transform this in administrative requirement. So this is about Anvisa can now decide about this, not the law of the
Yes, yes.
government.
It
But
is. It,
Anvisa still have the possibility to ask, to require, to mandate the serial number.
yes, good. The about the packaging inserts. Okay, it needs to be hosted on links authorized by Anvisa. Okay, yeah, we need to understand what Anvisa will ask to validate these links, but you need to have an authorization from Anvisa. Okay, the inclusion of the information in digital format by the Anvisa or by the registration holder uh, needs to have will not replace the needs for the presentation also in printed format. Okay, it means that now you have a requirement to have the paper leaflet, okay, the printed leaflet, the packaging inside the carton, and plus the digital leaflet. Okay, we need to wait for Anvisa to to create a RDC or normative instruction to understand if you have some choices on the market. Okay, for this category of the products, you don't need to have, for example, the leaflet, the printed leaflet. Okay, but at this moment, you need to have both. Okay,
Yes,
Anvisa will
the next
decide.
paragraph of the bill stated that they assume that all the medicines in Brazil will need to have both a leaflet, the digital version, and the paper version. But Anvisa has the authority to define some categories of medicines, drugs that only need to have the digital version. An example, it's open to Anvisa to define. So it states that So start from everyone needs to have both, but Anvisa can decide if one category are exempted from having the paper leaflet.
Yes, at this moment, we don't have any company that can decide if you have the digital version or printed version. Okay,
Yes.
from this moment, all the company we need to have both. Of course, we need to understand when it will start. Okay, we have some text on the bill that's related to the timeline to implement it is about 12 months. Okay, and from the regulation. Okay, that is a doubt, a question, an open question, even from our side about this text related to the regulation. When we are talking about traceability, serialization, and when we are talking about the digital leaflets, because based on the information that we have on the law, this timeline of 12 months, we will start from the regulation, but from when we are talking about traceability, about serialization, we already have the normative instructions and the RDC published. On this way, tomorrow we will have probably a new version of the normative instruction in RDC because this subject is also on the Anvisa meeting of the board directors tomorrow. And this is a question that we need to understand properly, and because we need to understand when this timeline will start counting.
It's important. I don't know if everyone knows this, but Anvisa has put in a meeting, the board of directors meeting tomorrow, 9:30 Brazilian time. I believe we are 4 hours, maybe 3 hours. I read from
Europe.
UK and 4 hours from the uh, other parts of Europe. And on the agenda, there are two subjects, two topics related to the SNCM system. So, uh, or, we invite you to watch or to share with your teams here in Brazil and compliance teams and regulatory teams to watch, to follow what will
The
be
meeting.
voted tomorrow on this meeting.
If someone of you want to see the text, okay, please access this rastreabilidade.com, and on the first page you can access this article, and you have here the information about the RDC and the normative instruction, the draft, okay, that will be inside of the meeting,
Will
inside
be
the
voted.
meeting,
Will be
will be
voted tomorrow.
voted tomorrow. Okay. And continuing here about the package inserts, you need to have the complete content, complete and updated content. As you have on the package inserts, on the paper inserts. The format needs to be easy to understand, okay, to read and understand, and you have to have the possibility of to have a conversion from converting the text from text to audio and or video if you want, okay, even using some special app. We have some technical discussion that we will have on the next point that is related how can we do it. Let me close this point here. uh, uh, Even if you don't have serialization, you need to have a distribution map, okay, with the quantity of all the products that we are selling to the market, and probably this information uh, will need to be sent to Anvisa, okay, because as we know today, all the companies need to send some similar information to Anvisa, okay, to the CEMED. CEMED is a department inside Anvisa that as I know, companies need to send information about the distribution map. That's why we didn't need a law to ask for this kind of information, because as I know, all the manufacturers in Brazil already send this information to Anvisa, maybe in a monthly basis. Okay, this is a key point to understand why we are talking about the digital leaflets, and we are changing traceability. Okay, it was only a subject to put the discussion, to put some gray zone on the discussion. Okay, the registration holder of medicines must have a system that allows the creation of a distribution map of medicines with the identification of the quantities that you are selling to the market and distributed for, in lot basis. Okay, as well the destination of the medicines. Okay, this is an information that every company has in Brazil, because this is the same information that we have on the electronic invoice. Okay, something to add, Ricardo? Please
No.
feel free. Okay.
Okay.
This is the key point that we need to understand. Okay, after the completion of the regulation that deals with the capital of this article, the other system step must be deployed, implanted in up to 12 months. This is a point that I need to be honest. I need to have some support here from the lawyers to understand if this point will be valid for traceability, because even traceability on serialization, we already have a normative instruction and RDC that, of course, if this bill uh, being approved, we need to review the normative instruction in the RDC. But in fact, we already have the regulation, okay, of the serialization. We don't have from the regulation of the package inserts, the leaflets, but of the traceability we have the regulation. Okay, this is the point. All these articles was revoked. Okay, the this article about the competence of Anvisa to implement the system, but as I told, Anvisa don't need this kind of text in a law to have the power to implement a national system, okay, to track medicines. It could be different if we have inside this bill some information that can forbid or can deny the power of Anvisa to implement the system, but there is no text denying the power of Anvisa to implement the system. Okay, this is about the database. Okay, in this case, the database has to be implemented, installed inside the federal institution of the from the government. That's why we are dealing today with data prev. But based on the new text, and in this text, as this text will be revoked, the database could be even inside a private company. Okay, but there is no tax that can forbid an Anvisa to have a database. Okay, Anvisa don't need the right to have a database, because Anvisa can ask for the information, can ask for serial number on the package, can implement a database to receive the information. Okay. This part, okay, the part related to the bill is done, and now we will talk about the impacts. Uh, the first one is the variable data maintenance. Okay, This is a key point. Taking consideration of the variable data maintenance, uh, lot, expiry date, okay? Let me try. Expiry, expiry date uh, is, and we have variable data. It means that in the most of the cases, almost in 100% of the cases, we need to have printers on the line, okay? So there is no saving here uh, about the serialization machine. Okay, if you have to have printer on the line, okay, uh, you need to have a printer. If you need to check the information and the quality of the information you are printing on the carton, and it's related to the RDC 301 or 65H related to peaks, you need to have a camera. Okay, if the quality is bad, you need to have a rejection, you need to have automation, and you need to have a human machine interface. You need to have an industrial computer. You need to have almost the same equipment that you need to have for serialization. And there is no saving on the production line. Okay, maybe on the aggregation we can have a discussion about if aggregation will be needed. Okay, but thinking only about the marking, the printing system, you need to have almost the same equipment on the line, and that's why we need to understand that for the manufacturers there is no saving on this point of the law. Okay, that's why in the most of the case that we can see on the registration holders or the market authorization holders in Brazil that already buy the equipment, already started the implementation. In our case, the customers that we have contact, uh, almost 100% will keep the serialization on the production lines. Let me go to serial is optional, but all the world is using serial numbers. Okay, that's why we are doing here this version, this English version of the live to you. International plants use serial numbers. Local plants that export to countries that already have serial number requirements, serialization requirements, we need to use serial number. In this case, to install equipment on the line, we need to have all the equipment for serialization. Even if I can choose, can have a choice to print without the serial number. Okay, it's it must be clear. And there is a tendency here on the companies that we have contact to keep the serial number. Okay. About the bull electronic, the digital, the electronic leaflets. Uh, the electronic leaflet, okay, don't allow the companies to to get the paper leaflets on the package, to get out the paper the original packaging sites on the package, and we have to keep both until Anvisa can ask for can publish some new regulation related to how can we do it. Okay, and talking about the technical alternatives, that's why I invited Ricardo to this discussion. We have some alternatives here. The first one, having only the GS1 data matrix, okay, with the GTIN, the registration number, the batch ID, the expiry date, the serial number that is optional, and we have inside the GS1 an application identifier that we can put a web address. It's okay, Ricardo?
It's important here to Now it's the tough part. The tough part, because
Let's go to discuss.
GS1 has this AI. This was intended for especially the GS1 QR code, and
Okay.
you can when you use the GS1 QR code using adding a AI 0101 with the editing and the AI 8200, you still need an app to merge
Yes.
those informations and create the final URL.
To
And
decode the information, right?
yes, and when we look to this, first Anvisa didn't with the existing RDC we couldn't add the this AI, but the new bill says that companies can add this information. But what the bill states in here, and that's the main point. I have the printed version here. Um, they said on the top, the article 3 and top 9, the bidimensional barcode of quick response that redirects to an web address that give address to the e-leaflet. So the difficult part is here is the interpretation of the text, because it mentions quick response code, so we can understand the QR code, and that
Yes.
redirects an web address. Uh, Depends on the interpretation, but at the first sight, at first trying to read this this is trying to direct to the QR code with an URL or URL.
Yes. I have this option on the next on the next
Yes,
here.
I believe you talk about this, but the first option, adding an URL with AI, is an option. It's an
Is a
option. But we need
attempt
to
is
talk.
attempted to try to follow the standard.
Yes, we need to talk to the institute, to the government, trying to figure if this is the best approach. Because sometimes when you starting add more information to the data matrix, it tends to get bigger. And sometimes I don't know if the printer head or the area in the carton has space area to print a bigger data matrix. This is an option, but this need to be better studied,
I- I-
because the impact that this could bring to the market
And
practices.
And I think that in this case, Ricardo, we have only one code. It's good. Okay, it's the international standard, but we have some disadvantages here, some cons. That the cell phone camera does not understand the URL, the address inside the barcode by default. Okay, we need to have a special app. And maybe you have some higher costs here because I'm not sure if all the systems, the serialization systems around the world, is capable to print that AI at this moment. And probably we will need to have some software update in all the systems to use this option. Okay. The next one that I would like to discuss is having one QR code and one data mate is not good for me. Okay, it's only a brainstorming here, guys.
Yes,
Please
it's
don't kill
important.
the message. Don't kill the message. One QR code with the address of the electronic leaflet. Okay, it's good. Is a cheaper. Is the I think this is the cheapest way here, and we will have the data matrix with the serialization and with the information of the product, with the serial number, the optional serial number. Okay. On this case, we have some benefits that the mobile camera can understand a pure HTTP link on the QR code. Okay, and the QR code can be fixed on the artwork of the carton. The data matrix remains standard, okay, but we have the disadvantage that we have two codes, and we
You
will use
mean
more
three
space.
codes
Yeah, three codes in this
when
case.
you have the EAN 13.
Yes, and this is what it will looks like. Okay, we will have the data matrix on the side that we have today on the carton, and we can have the QR code on in any place, okay, on the carton with only the link to the digital leaflet. It's common in Brazil because we already have some companies that has a QR code with a internet link on the package, and it will be the same. Okay, is this is one option.
Yes, just one has this position paper regarding the code. Just one tries we have this vision that we in the future we need to have only one barcode on the package on the carton. This is uh, the main goal. Unfortunately, we need to deal with some specifics from country to country, and unfortunately, sometimes this needs to be done because uh, all the systems are not ready in to use any kind of barcodes. We have some products that goes to retail, to pharmacies, and the same products goes to a hospital. And because of that, sometimes you will see this miscellaneous of barcodes
Yes, yes,
in
it's not
carton.
good.
It's not good, but unfortunately, it's some reality in some
Yes.
countries. In Brazil, uh, this is the reality now.
I think this one, okay, is not the perfect way that we can have, but can be accepted by the market based on the conditions that we have today. Okay, we can keep the data matrix as is. We don't have additional cost to keep the data matrix as is, and we can put a QR code on the carton. Okay, it's not the best, but can be a useful option for the market. One day, probably the standard, the linear barcode will not be on the carton, okay, in the future, and we'll have two codes, okay, but can be an option. The worst for me is to have only a QR code on the carton, okay, because to this option we need to change all the serialization machines around the world, and it's not a good idea, okay. It's not for me. It's not the standard. Okay, I think even for you, Ricardo.
Yes, I believe it's the most difficult to implement
Yes,
because it's different from other the rest of the world. So,
yes.
uh,
Let me put it. Please, please. Do not do it. Please, Ricardo, continue.
obviously, we are talking about the regulated healthcare. Of course, just once working with other sectors toward we call the migration to 2G. We are strongly working with this in Brazil. We're trying to leverage the 2G for other sectors, especially the food and fresh food with
Ah, yes.
expired date. We are trying in the future to prepare the retail to read, scan this code, but at this moment, it's not at every retail. It's in a few only. We're trying to expand this.
And the last one that for me is the best is to use the same data matrix with the GS1 digital link.
Uh, yes, I will add in the back on QR code and data matrix. Maybe we can discuss about this. I don't know if you all know there's a GS1 standard called GS1 Digital Link. The GS1 Digital Link it's a set of instruction and standard, and started basically with in we call URI. It's like a URL, but it has a defined structure where we can merge an web address with the GTIN in a standard way that uh, point of sale softwares and scanners can use the same QR code that nowadays usually we see
The same
related
data
to.
matrix, please. The same data
No,
matrix, please.
I know I will reach that point. And you see a lot of QR codes with some marketing intent, but why not to trying to merge both? You create this like URL or URI, using the same AI structure, only in only one single string that can be processed by the point of sale softwares, phones, and you can use the same barcode for both scenarios, marketing and the supply chain.
Yes,
You
and in this case, Ricardo, it will be like this information. Okay, you have here we need to decode the information inside the data matrix and transform this information in a URL. Okay, and it can be hosted on the company infrastructure. Okay, the registration holder infrastructure to find the information about that unit, or even it needs to be clear that it can work even with the linear barcode to reach the information about the product.
Yes, but when especially when we were talking to the about the URI, we can it's important we can create this URI and insert into a QR code, not GS1 QR code. This is very important because when we talk about GS1 QR code, GS1 data matrix, we need to think to using the AI structure. When we create this digital link and we will encode this into a QR code or into a data matrix, the information will not be exactly as we are used to see that the AI structure inside the GS1 data matrix. When we try to scan with your phone, in example, we will got a single string that you need to parse and break into the information that's important. And because that I was talking about QR codes and now the data matrix. Recapping, when we create this standard address like Rodrigo is showing on the screen, we get that information and combining the standard way to create this web address. We can encode this into a QR code. We can encode this into an NFC tag and a data matrix, intending to when it gets scanned by other systems that are not ready for GS1 AIs, it will be able to redirect the customer or the patient to the website web address, and you can also have this variable or static data. And the digital link has another pillar, another tool that we call the resolver. The resolver is a software that basically redirects the user. How can I explain this? The resolver is it's a software that when I ask for more information about the product, I give an example, a GT, and ask resolver where I can find more information about this. And the resolver is a database that has information that we can redirect the user to that. And the resolver combined with an app, it's important. We can connect, we can make this GS1 data matrix or GS1128 or
Compatible.
EAN13 web
Compatible.
enabled,
Uh,
because the resolver completes the missing information is that where is the information online? Where can I find this? If this bill uh, this bill stated that the bidimensional code needs to forward, and that's the point, needs to forward the user directly to the place in the web where he can get the leaflet. If we put some app in the middle of this, this will be allowed. If this will be allowed, we can have this app, and Visa even can
can
create
have an app,
this
yes.
app. Yes,
Yes.
and we can use the same data matrix to do that. But if the interpretation of the bill state will demand that we need to directly reach the information without any app in the middle, I believe, unfortunately, will need it will be necessary to have both QR codes and the data matrix, unless in the future phones like iOS or Android camera apps maybe
Can
will be connected to some resolver, and that resolver do this translation of information. This responding, answering what Marcel asked, né? Can the GSO data matrix used to combine both requirements? This need depends of the interpretation of the law. We can use this app in the middle. We can use the data matrix. I believe technically speaking, it's completely possible. But if the law demands this direct access, maybe we will need to have both, at least at this moment, this beginning, both QR code and JSON data matrix. And just to close, the most important thing is if you if you will use the QR code, I strongly recommend you to implement this QR code using a GS1 digital
digital
link
link.
standard, because this minimize the impact of this implementation, because you can still add some DT information to an web address, and you have EAN13 talking about one DT, the QR code with this DT, and the data matrix with the same DT. It's complex, but unfortunately, this is the scenario right now in Brazil.
Ricardo, let's try to answer some questions before go to the end of the live. I will choose some questions. Please, guys, send the questions on the chat. Okay. Does the register number only have the encoded in the data matrix, or also printed as human readable text next to the data matrix? Uh, in this case, we already have on the cartoon the registration number, okay, as a fixed string on the artwork. You don't need to repeat the registration number on the side of the data matrix, okay?
Yes,
You can keep the registration number on the place that you have today.
here in Brazil, it's mandatory to have the registration number on the carton, but Visa doesn't regulate it, saying that needs to be exactly right after um, the data matrix. Talking about the GS1 standard, GS1 always recommend all the information inside the data matrix to be placed right after the data matrix. But we have some exceptions, né? When you have don't have enough area to do that, you can remove some information. And the Brazilian law allows you to only requires to have on the carton, not exactly uh, in the side of the data matrix.
Yes, we have companies here that are using four lines layout. Okay, we have companies that are using five lines layout. For example, companies that are using four lines is printing are printing on the side of the data matrix the GTIN, not the serial number, the expiry date, the manufacturing date, and the batch information, because we already have in another place on the carton the information about the GTIN, okay, as a fixed information. And we also have companies that are printing five lines with the GTIN on the top of the human readable information. Okay, it's a choice that you can do. Ricardo, one more question from Marcel. What will be the effect of voluntary serialization on the downstream partners, end-to-end model with scanning by end users, but no obligation for downstream partners to scan? Marcel, from my side, I don't have the answer for you on this case, because you need to understand the adoption of the serialized shipments and receiving on the market, okay, mainly on the distributors. But I think that we have some many advantages, starting from the point that we have the expiry date on the carton, okay, because nowadays I'm not sure about other markets, okay, but in Brazil we have some problems on the supply chain that's related to the products that are expiring, are getting expired, okay, but the expiry date on the stocks on the market, and having the information about the expiry date ready to capture using a scanner will be a game changer to use the data matrix. Using the data matrix, we will have some advantage related to this more complex management. But we need to understand if Anvisa will ask for the track and trace for the downstream partners on the regulation once we have the bill approved. It's a open point that I'm not sure how to answer to you at this moment. Okay, but I think that we have to have a wave of the to talk of about the advantages of the use of data matrix or even the serialization. Let's see other question and start to adding. Can you answer this one, Ricardo?
Is this URL optional in data matrix if the serial number is used? Adding such AI 2 days before the manufacturer go live with track
Yeah.
and trace sounds crazy.
Ah, it's crazy. Everything in Brazil
Yeah.
is crazy.
No, but adding the data these AIs is just we are just brainstorming, and anyone, neither Visa, neither government, stated something about this. So you can keep your plan. Um, I I believe that at this moment the adding of this new AI to the data matrix will not be the recommended option, uh, unless until we Anvisa and the government clarifies how to implement this. I really believe that we'll go using three barcodes: a QR code, the data matrix with the information, the standard information, and what the bill said is minimum, the expiry date, the batch number, Visa number, and the DTIN. Optional, maybe the serial number. This will be the same that you are working on this right now, and maybe we will need to add some changes to our cartoon art to add that QR code.
Yes, let's go to the last one before continuing. How will horizontal communication happen? How
Yeah.
will customers receive the serialized products? We have a standard that we have worked inside the GS1 by by a group that was managed by Ricardo, and we have a standard. We know that some companies are implementing the horizontal communication, but the adoption will be for to talk about the adoption. We need to understand what will be the next steps on the regulation, or even on the requirements of Anvisa for the downstream partners, as we
We,
told you.
yes, if we will need to change something, but the horizontal communication, the way it was created and planned, it's a way, it's a medium to exchange the vertical communication message. So if Anvisa changes in some way this message, the horizontal communication probably will be ready to deal with it, because we just get the vertical message and replicate it in a horizontal way between partners. So it I don't know how the horizontal communication will work without the serial number for some products, but we'll need to wait to see how Visa will adapt or change or look to the scope of the SNCM in example, and later I believe we can revisit this horizontal communication standard.
Yes, we'll have a clear scenario in the next weeks or days when we have the bill approved, and even the maybe the next normative instructions or RDCs from Anvisa. Guys, we need to go to the end of the presentation because I am I am using more time than Ricardo could give it to us. And just to summarize, in the end, the integration group is working as usual with DataPrev. Okay, DataPrev is working. We have the expectation to that DataPrev will release the production environment soon, before April 28. It means that today or
Tomorrow.
even tomorrow. And tomorrow we have the SNCM subject on the GCall, and you can find the information related to the draft of the normative instruction and the new RDC on my blog rastreabilidade.com. Okay, that you can see on the bottom of the page. And the next steps and facts, I would like to recommend to keep working on integration, because there is no margin to stop some projects. In terms of sales units, about 40% of the market, the companies that represents 40% of the market already started or is already finishing their implementations. It means that, in my understanding, there is no way back about the implementation of the data matrix authorization. As you know, that is a global wave, okay, to have this kind of initiative on the pharmaceutical market. Probably Avisa will keep the SNCM working for the companies who want to send the serialized information. And those companies can use as a market differentiation. Okay, that is the key message that I would like to give to you before the end of the presentation. I'm not sure if Ricardo want to add some comments on top of this topics, Ricardo.
I believe at this point in Brazil, we don't have the definition. What is still valid in Brazil at this very moment? April 28th start. Will start the SNCM, and the law will be valid. This is the current scenario in Brazil.
It's crazy,
Uh,
but it's reality. But it is
yes,
this is the reality. Yes.
yes. Until the president approves the law, or until the next call meeting that will be tomorrow, this is the scenario. So keep doing the hard work. I know it isn't easy, and we'll need to be uh, watching and following the next news here in Brazil for the next couple of days. And next week everything can be different. I don't know why it's impossible. We don't have information on backstage information to say anything. This will happen or not. This is
Yeah.
completely. I have no clue what will be the next day. So keep the work, keep implementing, and keep with the April 28th deadline.
Oh, yes. And thank you very much, Ricardo, for your time. Sorry for my delay. Okay. I passed 15 minutes. Thank you for all of you that could be today with us on this live. I I I guess that this live can be useful for you, okay, in order to understand the between the lines, okay, the implementation here in Brazil. The message that we would like to give to all of you is that, as Ricardo told, keep working because we need to understand the market movement. If a visa will ask for track and trace on the downstream partners, as Marcel asked, and but we know today we know that we had a lot of investment from those companies that started the implementation. Based on the estimate that we have, it was more than 1 billion of reais, and there is no way back, okay, for serialization track and trace in Brazil. It will be, if not today, if not next month, okay, probably in the next year, because it will be a market movement, because there is no way back, based on the level of investment that was made in Brazil for the companies that he started. Okay. Uh, any additional comment, Ricardo, before
No,
finish?
only to thank you all for your time, and feel free to reach us if you have any doubt. And I think we will talk again soon.
Yes, yes. Guys, thank you very much for your time. Let's keep in touch. If you need some information, please send me an email, okay? And will be a pleasure to exchange some information with you and to share some ideas, okay? Thank you very much. Bye bye. Thank you, Ricardo.
Bye bye. Thank you all.
Bye bye.